Let's try that. Looks interesting. Mouth is still good. Let's see. Change this to hello, Catherine. Can you hear me okay? I am doing well. Thank you very much for asking. How is the audio? I am going through some 1968 pennies right now, but I just wanted to see who else was on right now. See who would jump in the chat. I haven't streamed that much, and really I haven't really gotten to a point where I can do videos that much lately. It's been really busy at work, and I just really haven't had the time. My day's pretty much I wake up, I take a shower, I go to work, I come home, and I go back to sleep, and then wake up and do the same thing. So, so what I'm doing right now is I'm just going through. I have this big giant box that I previously sorted 1968 or 1960s coins out into, and so what I'm doing is, since I don't have a need to sit on that many coins right now. What I'm doing is I'm going through them and seeing if I can find any particular errors, like double dies, specifically like double dies and repunchment marks. And if I'm not, I'm just going to put them in a box and take them back to the bank next week, so I can get a fresh coin. And I have I have several things that I am trying to accomplish tonight. Although how much that I actually get done may or may not actually happen. So I actually have a couple of boxes that I've gone through that the results are up here. I've actually got a total of 3 boxes that I've gone through. There's one up here, one here, and then this is the last one that I just went through. I did find some really interesting coin. One is this particular one right here. It looks kind of rough. It may be, if I soak it in some water, I may be able to clean it up a little bit. But what's special about this one is that this is a 1960 Denver, and it's got a repunched mint mark, and it's a just a huge mint mark. So I've matched it up with number 12 off of Wexler's. So um, I'm going to look that up and see if I can get it to if I get some of the gram off of it without cleaning it, because if I clean it, I'll ruin the value, and that defeats the purpose of finding these coins. But I was just kind of seeing how many people would possibly jump on, just because I just wanted to talk to you guys and see, what are some of the reasons that you as coin collectors, or us as coin collectors, why do we do what we do? Um, the reason why I'm bringing this up is I'm getting a lot of lag though. The reason why I wanted to bring this up is that I noticed on some forums that people will post pictures, and this is not just one forum. I mean, there's several forums that I visit, and I find these particular things. But um, good morning, Andre. Um, One of the things that I wanted to talk about is, do we do these coins for the sake of the coin, or for the sake of the value of the coin? And what I mean by that is, because I am particularly, I'll say, disappointed and a little bit frustrated that some people will just go on to these forums and these websites, and they'll just post pictures of every single coin that they have, and obviously ask, is this worth anything? And the pictures will be blurry, will be from like 6 feet away, will be the 1982 Denver, and it will be a large date, and they'll be like, "Hey, is this the valuable one?" That really frustrates me as a coin collector, because that just shows that they really don't have any interest in the historical value, in the intrinsic value of the coin. They are only interested in the numeric value, in the monetary value of a coin. And I would love to know your guys's thoughts on this particular subject. Because for me, it's frustrating, because it adds a lot of noise. I'll call it noise in the coin community that that I don't think needs to be there. I think there's a lot of people that are trying to do a lot of good things, and to find coins that, that coin roll hunters, and there's the silver seekers, and the people that stack silver, and that's a different piece, because that is based off of the material of the coins. The stuff I'm talking about is really, I guess, specifically revolves around the um, I guess the Lincoln cent, and other coins like that. Um, so if you guys put comments in the in the chat, or later on, I'm curious to what you guys think about people that do that. I mean, again, it frustrates me because it shows that they don't care about the history. They don't care about researching the particular coins, about finding out why this coin exists, or what led up um, to coins to exist, like the 1982 Denver small date um, copper, or the 1943 um, steel zinc plated, or the 1943 copper, or what. I mean, just really the history that led up to the creation of these coins that are not supposed to exist, and to take that as something that we find in um, um, if we find as value of it being the coin itself, not um, a money maker. I mean, the money for rare coins, and obviously valuable coins, is is a byproduct of the process. Um, yeah, it's just it's kind of interesting. But I'm not sure how how other people particularly feel about that. So let me know what you guys think. Um, I think it's really just kind of interesting about the entire thing, because I feel like that there's a lot of people that kind of ruin it. Um, and I'm sure they don't necessarily mean to. They may do it, just post on, the first website that they find, um, thinking that somebody will give them the answers, and then they'll just move on. But there's other people that just post on there, and just to post pictures, and not really even try. Like, you can see pictures of people sitting in their truck, in their vehicle, with just like a stack of pennies on their knee or something. But um, and they just don't even want to try. Catherine says, I do it because of my health and my age. It helps me get through the day. I just hate when people have ruined a coin on purpose. I go to Ken Peavy so that I can learn a lot, and I still don't know a lot. And Catherine, I think that's important, because you show that you don't know a lot, but you are interested in finding out. And I think that's really pivotal for the numismatists, um, um, type coin collectors, that finding a rare coin is a special um, as a special event, but knowing where that where that coin came from, or how that coin became to be, is I feel is more important. Hey SJ, how are you? I was actually looking for you and didn't see you on, so I decided to jump on. Hope you don't mind. Oh, that's cool. Are you tired from Disneyland? That must have been quite a trip. Uh, so some of the things that I was talking about, SJ, as I down my monster, is why we do what we do. So some of the things I was talking about is uh, really the reason why that we look at coins the way that we do, the reason for me, the historical, the historical aspect, the research aspect, the that really for me, me personally, it's an understanding piece of figuring out where these coins came from, why are they rare, what is the process that creates these coins and that causes these particular um, errors of varieties. And I was venting, I guess, a little bit that I'm frustrated in the sense of um, some of the websites and forums that are out there, that people just take pictures of the change that they have in their pocket, and they ask 15 questions, and they post it to everywhere, and they ask, are any of these valuable? And to me, actually really kind of bothers me, because that says they don't care about the coin. They just care about the value. And I think that kind of, for me, it ruins coin collecting, because they're not they don't want to understand it. They just want the money from it. And I'm not necessarily saying that's bad, but when I think that what I was saying before is, I think that creates a lot of noise in the coin community, and I think that really takes away from the learning and the understanding of these coins, and why that they are what they are. I mean, yes, it's true that these coins are, nominal pieces of currency that we use in transactions every day, and they're really not much more than that. But what about the errors? Like, yes, it is still a piece of currency, but what caused a 1955 double die? What caused an RPM? What are the items that led up to that coin being created? What caused the um, 1992 and 93 reverse design change? What caused the 1998, 99, and 2000 wide AMs? Why are those important? I think it's for me, it's more of an understanding of and a learning aspect um, than finding the coins. The finding the coins and the numeric monetary value, I think, is a byproduct of researching the coins and understanding the coins, because then you understand why it's valuable, not just that it is valuable. And I think in some respects that we're actually missing a lot of that. Not that it doesn't exist, because coin channels like CoinOp and Ken Peavy's, um, they give great information, tons and tons of videos and access and links, and Mantic does it too, and especially Jeffrey Shumar. He does an excellent job talking about the coins, and talking about, why is this coin, this coin, why is this a particular coin that is of interest to someone. So that's, it's those kind of things that I wish that we had a better, not necessarily a better outlet, but as far as um, we'll say a culture. I wish we had a better culture that people can, are more apt to understand the coins, not just find the coins. Anybody can find a coin, but you know, it's really in the eye of the beholder if you understand where the coin came from, and that's the reason why it's valuable. I think that's more important than just and just finding a coin. So these stack of coins right here are 1968s. I'm actually going through, and I had previously had a large box that I just sorted all of my 60s into, and so I'm going through, because what I've done is I've made some of the basically what I would call the MS versions, and I've put together entire rolls of those particular, and I will put these rolls. I'll have one or two or three of these rolls that I will have um, basically for sale, um, set aside, and then as I find more 60s and 70s specifically, then I will continue building rolls, um, and I'll leave these as unsearched as far as errors or varieties. So if somebody wants something that is a better quality circulation, then they could possibly get it from me. Um, just something I was thinking about. I'm not sure how far I'm gonna take it yet, but that is specifically what I'm doing with these the stack coins. So I'm looking for the rest of these really circulated 68s. I'm just looking at them front and back, just see if I find any double dies on the obverse, repunchment marks, um, anything like that that would stick out. And otherwise, I will purge them and take them back to the bank, because they are just taking up space for me, and I am not at a place where I have a ton of space, so I'm gonna try to clear some space. So another thing that I'll ask you, SJ, since you're in here, is different ways that somebody can build a channel. What are some good ways that you have done well with in building your subscriber base? Is it just that you just get on and it just kind of evolved to that? There's something going on there. Yeah, I'll show you guys what I'm doing here. Oops. So break there's my screen. There's you guys. So this is on my laptop. So I'm just going to be looking for RPMs. I'm looking for reverse double dies. Just whatever I can kind of find. There's a lot of post-mint damage on these. There's a lot of mechanical doubling on these, which I found. I found some that have some severe mechanical doubling on them, which is fine. I just won't use those. I thought about keeping some of my strongest. Let me get this out here. Sorry. I thought about keeping some of my strongest mechanical doubling to use for examples. Actually, this is a good one. So this is a good example of mechanical doubling. How the S, the A, the O, you can kind of see it all the way across. How this flat surface right here, you can see it on the inside of the E. This is mechanical doubling. So when this, you can actually see it on every single one of these. where the die was basically struck twice by the press. So, and these things are, newer people don't understand that this is mechanical doubling, and they will think that this is a double die. You can see how it's very strong down here. But I had one that had strong mechanical doubling on the 1968 right here. Like, it was so strong. Just to use as an example to really show what people should look for live examples of mechanical doubling versus double die. So, but I will keep looking out because I always find the mechanical doubling in every single box. So that's nothing new, and I will continue to find those because those are easy to find. And I have one, let's see if I can put it on the scope. I have this one that I found today. How do you like that RPM? That is a super, super strong RPM. So I looked this one up on Wexler's, and this one I think is number 12. So basically there is two, if I can hold this. So there's one D right here on the inside, and it shows on the outside. And then the second one, which is the second punch, is this one right here, which is the stronger. So, and I looked this up, and it says that this is actually a triple punch. So somewhere over here, there is actually a lighter one. So this is 1, 2, and then 3. So this may just be a double punched, or it actually may be a triple punched. Even, this being the first and second punch, and then this one's the third one, which is the deepest of the 3. But I thought that was a cool one that I found today. Found in the box that I just finished this morning. So anytime I go through a large amount of coins, I'm always wearing gloves. Just because they get really nasty after a while. So I haven't in the 60. I've gone through 60s, and I've gone through 61s and 62s, and I only have a couple that have some other things that I would be looking for, but the rest of them I've basically purged. There just really wasn't anything there. I mean, I didn't find any double dies. I didn't find any RPMs. I think at one time that I had previously searched them, but I know that I have not searched any of these for probably at least 8 months. So there's a lot of things that I did not know before that I feel like that I do now that would better prepare me for finding double dies and RPMs, just because there's a lot more things that I can understand and a lot more experience in the past about year, that I can read the coins a lot better now. So out of the ones that I've gone through, I think I have a couple, like 3 or 4 in the 70s. And as far as the built, I guess, built rolls, I have a 68S and I have a 68D. So those are the only 2 that I've built in the 60s. so far. My intention is that as my smaller containers fill up, I will build the rolls. So some of them might take me a lot longer, but I can also do a mixed roll of, say, 1968 PDNS, or 1970s, and depending on the year, PDNS or just P&D. Just something, something for somebody else that has the time and the will to go through and search which for particular rarities that I haven't looked for yet, or I haven't had time to look for. Just a better. I feel like it's a better offering, other than the quote unquote unsearched roles on eBay that we all know are a bunch of crap, because they're just loaded rolls that are 40s and 50s, and they don't really have any really good wheats in them. They'll have like an Indian head ender or something weird like that, because we all know that those are garbage. Um, but it's just something different that I haven't seen before. So I decided to take the opportunity and set myself in place to do something like that. So if you guys are um, looking for, I would call them AU to MS um, level coins. Um, you know, Obviously ranging in color from red to brown. Um, red, brown, brown. As far as colors, but I don't put garbage in there. Anything that's like completely destroyed, like the back of this coin, where it's got like garbage all over it. Half the design is missing. There's big gashes through half of the coin. Like that's not going to be in those rolls, because I care about these coins more than that. And especially if I'm going to sell it to um, other collectors, I will never sell them garbage, because that doesn't speak well of the community, and that doesn't speak very well of me. And I have more pride than that. I would rather give somebody the opportunity to find something that I may have missed, or to have better utilize something um, that I don't have the capacity, or I don't have the need to actually go through. So the same thing, I had an extra laptop. This is, I think, late last year, middle of last year. Yeah, middle of last year, August time frame. I had an extra laptop, and I actually had emailed Snacks at $50 Make You Holler, and I told them, I said, hey, I have this extra laptop sitting around. Do you guys want it? Because I noticed that they didn't really have anything for like a microscope or anything like that, and I figured, well, hey, they could use, if they wanted to keep their main computer and then use this laptop to hook a USB microscope to, that may work out for them. They ended up getting a microscope anyway, but I sent them a laptop. It was only, for me, it was only like maybe 40-50 bucks, but it wasn't about the price. The point was is that I felt like that they could utilize it better than I could, so I sent it to them, because I don't need a bunch of laptops sitting around doing nothing. I already have 4 that are sitting around doing nothing that I'm not utilizing. So I have to work on getting those either working or parted out, or this one looks like machine doubling on the S right here, right at the top. That's what that looks like. Basically, if I have any questions on it, if it's a different color, then it's generally machine doubling. But if it's the same color, then it's more like a double die. But again, it all depends on the coin. All depends on the year. There's so many other things that can happen to a coin. But generally, what I found in the coins that I search is if it's a different color and it's flat like that, then that's a machine doubling. Keep on looking for like die chips and stuff over here, but it's like every one of these coins that I find, this L is smashed. So I don't know what that is about on the 60 on this on these are all 68s. See, there's something here, but the way that the line looks, this is machine doubling because I can see it down here on the T and the E and the D on the edge of the D. So that means this is just a machine doubling that went across a coin. There you can see it really, especially when you can see it right here too. And here, this is all machine doubling right here. See it very clearly in those elements. There was the other thing I noticed is that on the mint mark for the 68s, there is like a really thick mint mark for the S's, and then a really thin one. I thought was kind of interesting. Hey Robert, how you doing? I am just looking through coins right now and talking about. I guess at this point, it's just talking to myself and talking out loud and seeing what's going on. I was talking earlier about coin collecting and the reasons why that we do what we do, and that how other people may only think that coin collecting is collecting the value of the coin, not collecting the reason for the coin. So if you have thoughts on that particular subject, you are more than welcome to talk about that one. Just for me, it's more of a I want to understand. I want to understand where the coins come from. Like, there's one thing that I'm still trying to figure out, and I haven't really found a good source. Is and if anybody knows this, and I am all ears, that if after we take coins to the bank, and they have to ship them out somewhere because they put them in bags, and they obviously get picked up by the armored car companies. Where do the coins go after that? Now, the way that I understand it, and this could be right or wrong, the way I understand it is that that coin will go back to the Federal Reserve banks or the processing banks in that area. And then where do they go after that? I'm assuming at some point, somewhere, they would have to go back to a central processing, so that any damaged coins, any foreign coins, anything like that, damaged or worn or whatever type of coins, would then be removed from circulation, because I mean that's how the Bureau of Engraving and Printing works. So that would be one thing that I would really like to figure out, because ideally you would not have the same coins recycled in your area. Um, you would have to always get a, I'll say, a fresh batch of coins every 2 months, every 3 months, every, you know, just what is the time period? What is the, you know, what does that that market look like? Like, say, um, Washington State, we'll say. So in Washington State, do all the coins get funneled through, central banks in Seattle? And then Seattle is basically the home base for the coinage in that area, and it goes from Seattle and then goes to where, and like what, how far south does that, we'll say, service area go? Like, is there maps, um, for the different service areas, because then if you were a coin collector and that you understood that a particular area, say Seattle or Portland, or San Francisco, San Diego, any of these major cities, um, that if you could see where the quality of the coin that you get in your area is, say, you go through half dollars, and you know that you never get anything half dollars, and you never get anything out of half dollars, and half dollars is super searched. So you know that, right? So if there was a way to figure out what the mapping structure looked like, the layout, the service area, so that you could go to a bank outside your service area, um, without having to like completely go out of state, um, and get coins from outside your service area, so that you could see if you have better coins, say the next county over. Because like here in Oregon, the county that I live in is Marion County, and it's huge. It is ginormous. I could go to west, and then get into a different county, and that would be pretty easy for me. But if I go east, then it's the same county for, 160, 200 miles. So that service area, if it's county based, would be just enormous. So there's got to be a way. There's got to be something somewhere that has some kind of map, some kind of service, you know, designations for the area, so that that serious coin collectors, or people like me, that I want to understand how it all works, that I can find these you know find out find out how it works. I just want to understand. But there's I was looking around, and God, I really can't find anything. I really can't find anything that would represent, man, this is a really good coin, that would represent, what's that right there? There's something in this bay right here. I don't know what that is. The rest of the coin looks pretty good though. It's got some scratches, but not like any like destruction ones. I'm gonna keep that one. I really want to find, where this map is, where this, even if it just gave cities, like we'll say Portland, Gresham, and Wood Village, or something like that. Something like that would represent, um, that area, and that you knew that all of your coins in that area, even if they were recycled, that you knew that they were recycled so that you could go outside your, or outside that range, to get fresh coins. And that would be a good way to mix it up. Hey, Cointelligence, how you doing? Looking at coins, looking at coins. There's a die chip, a couple die chips right there. 1, 2, right in the middle of those columns. That's not gonna be enough for me. So if any of you guys have any contacts in the banking industry, I would really like to know if those service areas exist. Cointelligence, no. I have not really found any good ones. Right now, I am only looking through the 1968 that I had set aside. I've gotten about halfway through this. I have one of these large boxes that have the individual boxes, or the slots, that I had previously sorted the 1960s into all of the different years, thinking that I was going to be using them for projects and whatnot, and that demand just has never been created. So I am going through the 1960s just to see if I have anything, of which I didn't really have any hopes of really finding anything, which I haven't really found anything yet. So here is, see, like this coin right here would be a good coin to show what machine doubling looks like, especially on the reverse of a Lincoln. You can see there's a fat die chip right here on the last column, but down here along the edge of the memorial is significant machine doubling, and then up here on the letters America, this both sides of this A, I mean, you can see the very strong machine doubling that is occurring right there. Something like that if it was in a little better condition. Like you can see it really bad down here too. Right in all of these. Ooh. There we go. So this is all machine doubling right here, which is just the coin got struck twice by the press, and that is just a mechanical thing. It does not create any value to these coins. But on greater examples, I had one that was worse than this one. On greater examples, I thought about keeping them, just to use as live examples for some of my videos. I'm still working on the part 3 of the nickels that I almost forgot about. I felt kind of bad that I almost forgot about doing videos. My video series, not that I forgot about doing videos, but I've been really busy at work. My average days have been stretched to between 10 and 13 hour days. So when I come home, I pretty much come home, grab something to eat, and then go to sleep, and then get up and do it all over again. And that's pretty much been my life the last 2 weeks. So I was planning on working on some videos tonight. I have some mail that I got today, or that I got from my mailbox today. I probably got it a few days ago, or a week ago. that that I am going to do a video on. So one of them is Miss SJ. I did get a package from SJ, and I did open it. Thank you very much for that. And we'll make sure that that is in the video. And then the other package I got was from Half Dollar Make You Holler, which is also a really cool piece. I got a couple of stickers and a 1969 proof set, which is just a really sweet set to look at. I was looking at it briefly, and there was a Jefferson nickel that has some really interesting toning on that. So I don't know what I'm gonna do with that yet. I'm gonna do my video first, my shoutouts mail call video. So here's something else that you can kind of see on this particular coin. What happened here is that you notice that his coat kind of just fades off into no man's land. So this area right here, for whatever reason, this was polished. The dye on this was polished a lot. So the design basically fades out. I have one where I don't think I have it handy, where basically almost the entire one was polished out off the die. So the one is almost entirely gone due to how much polishing that they did on this. So the polishing really takes out part of the design, and there are known errors for that. There is one that is the no FG on the Kennedy half reverse, but generally it has to be a polishing removal of a significant design element in order to get to really get any value out of it. So the FG, since those are the designer's initials, that is considered a important element on the coin. So that's why that those will go for a small premium if they're missing those initials. And it has to be missing like all of it. If it's just missing one letter, then it won't pull it. But if it's missing both letters, and it's very clear that it's missing both letters, then those will generally pull a little bit of a premium. Let me get some more coins here. And there we go. So this is my last batch of the 1968s. So then I think I only have 2 years left before I empty out the entire box. No, 4 years left before I empty out the box. Then I can use it for my other project. But I don't know, it's just kind of one of those things that that has evolved. I think Ken Peavy probably said it the best way, and that this is a hobby of accumulation, is what he said. And that's true. It's that you can very easily accumulate coins over time, to build a collection. But so for me right now, I'm not looking for, what is that? My initial idea. Okay, that's machine doubling right there. When it's flat like this, right here along the edge, you can see it on the second column. Flat right here. This is on machine doubling right here. What I was seeing initially was right up here on the T and the E. I thought maybe there was something right there, but as I rotate around the coin, then it's very clear that it's just machine doubling. So what Ken Peavy said was that this is a hobby of accumulation. So the hobby of the coin collecting for me started out as a project trying to find specific years to do a kind of a history lesson, we'll say. It was for my mom's birthday, and I was doing a little thing where I was using pennies to represent the years that particular events had happened. So obviously her birth year, when she got married, when when my sister and I were born, all of those years had the dates in Lincoln pennies to represent those years, and she thought it was really neat. So I was like, hey, what if I could do something like this, only in different variations, in different formats. Well, I'm gonna have to have a bunch of years that I can access, and that is when I started getting into boxes of coins that I would go through and sort out into the individual years. So I used to have boxes on my desk for each of the decades. I would have a box for the 60s, I would have a box for the 70s, the 80s, the 90s. And then after I sorted out, I would just straight up sort them out. And then I would go through and sort them out each decade into their respective years. And then I would go through each of the years and pick out the best ones, and look for any, and basically reference all of the errors, all of the known double dies, all of the varieties. And then if I just didn't find anything, then I would sort them into these boxes, the best looking ones. Might have something on this one. Let me see what I got on this one. I'm not seeing any notching. That would be double die, but I'm not seeing any. What is that? No, it's gonna be machine. So right here on the E, right here on the T, on the top of the T, the A, you can see it, but it's slight. But it's especially on the edges like that. This is machine double die. So I've kind of sat around on this box of 70s and this box of 60s that I'd previously sorted out, and I just never really got around to do anything with it because I didn't do any more of those projects. So I just got to the point where hey, if this is taking up space, if there's any errors, then I need to find them, and if not, then I want the space back, and I'll just purge them out, take them to the bank, and get some more coin. So there are some people that will go through boxes of coin, and they will hoard out the copper coins, so the 1982 coins that are 98% copper. And I don't really have a purpose for that, or the room to store that amount of copper, or really the money to sink into having just a boxes of copper sitting around, because I just don't need it right now. More machine right there. United States, you can see it on States. So this is one of the two S's that I've noticed that I'm going to call this one a skinny S. Some of the other S's are really thick, that I've seen in different on different coins. I wonder if there's any more in here. I've seen that's a D, that's a D, that's a D. I don't think I have any more S's. Maybe that's a skinny one too. Yep, that's a skinny one too. Look at this one. Oh, this one might be a repunch. See this one right here, where it's wrapped around. Hey Ken, I didn't know you were in here, man. Might have to put this one off to the side. This one's kind of interesting. If I can get a better look at that later. I'm gonna set that one aside. Ken must be lurking, or his ears were burning because I was talking about him earlier. I was talking about Ken. I was talking about you had talked about coin collecting as a hobby of accumulation, and I felt that that was very accurate. That I had there were a bunch of coins, basically just stockpiled up that I hadn't really gone through yet. And I was referencing you're saying that it was accumulation, and that's very true. Very true. Konica RPM number 1. Ken, are you talking about this one right here? The 68? Okay. Then I will save that one off to the side, and I will reference that later. I'm just going through 68s right now. But Ken, if you have time, I would love to hear your thoughts on, and I'm sure that this is just a personal thing for me. But earlier in my live stream, I was talking about on there are several websites, um, several message boards that I notice that people will just go on and they will just post pictures on there with like a handful of just random change, asking if any of them are valuable. And I feel, um, and yes, I understand that people are looking for the monetary value of the coins, and I'm not saying that's bad. But the issue that I have, um, I guess personally, is that it just creates a lot of noise in the community, and I think that's, for me, it's not fair. I mean, it really creates a lot of noise for the other people that really want to learn, um, that really want to learn about the coins and why these coins exist and why they're valuable, and to really understand the coins. And for me, that's just that's just, I mean, for me, it's frustrating, but it's it's almost disrespectful because they don't care about the coin as being the coin. They only care about the monetary value of the coin. And I feel like, um, that um, that I mean, I feel like that we should have a better culture, I guess. But that's not something that you can instill in in sometimes what is a society that is, well, if I don't know, I'm just gonna Google and have instant answers. And there's not a lot of people that want to take the time to understand why. Three most common questions: what is this? What is it worth? Where is machine I put it in to get my money out? That's very true, Ken. That is very, very true. So one of the things that I was talking about you specifically earlier, was that channels like yours, specifically yours and CoinOp and Jeffrey Schumar, that actually talk about these coins, um, and really, talk about the history of these coins and why they are um, they are valuable. Like, where did this 1955, where did it come from, and why is the double die, the most common double die 1955, why is it valuable? Well, it's because there was an error in the creation of the die. Okay, but more specifically about some of these other coins that people don't really know about. I mean, you take the time and really talk about you know uh, the books, and referencing the other websites and the other channels, and I feel like that's very important in the overall understanding of why and how these coins are valuable. Not that, yes, they are or are not valuable. There's more to it than that. And I think it's that point that Ken says, I think commemorative hounds are underappreciated and subsequently undervalued. Is it because it's under, like, not understood? Or do people are people looking for just the monetary value? Because I know, one of the things that I've seen recently is the 1892-1893 Columbus Exposition, half dollars. The commemorative half dollars have been very, very popular lately across all platforms. I've seen them in coin shops. I've seen them on many shows, but I think a lot of that particular coin is because it is a silver coin, not because it's a commemorative $50. And that's where I think that that some of the history piece gets lost in the noise of, well, it's a silver $50. Well, yes, I get that, I understand that, but what makes it valuable, what makes it more valuable, is that it is the first commemorative $50 that was ever struck. You know, there's a reason why that they have a low mintage, why that it was struck in silver, why it was like the specifics of it. I think is more important and should be more focused on. I'm not sure that's the word I'm looking for. I think that that just hits right on your point of the reason why that they are underappreciated. Columbus, Columbia, DC, Columbia River. Most states have a Columbia County. Ken says the whole continent should be Columbia, north and south. So North America could be North Columbia, and then South America could be South Columbia. Yeah, but we got stuck with Amerigo Vespucci. Well, I guess none of us were really around in the time that when it came to naming that we were on par for it. Yeah, this one's wrecked already. I can already tell. Alright, Ken, I got one for you. This is a 1995 Denver. What would you call that? My first instinction was post-mint damage, but looking at the edge of it, like, I'm still thinking it's post-mint, but I thought it was interesting. The reason why I think it's a post-mint is because this metal, how it's folded up, and if it's folded up like that, that would be something a post-mint, and other than a struck through, because a struck through would have solid sides on it, would be very, very, in fact, I can prove that it's post-mint, because right here you can see the metal ripple right here. So it's going across, like down like this, and this is folding this metal up, and it's creating this ripple effect right here. Yep. So this is post mint. Wow, look at that. Ken Peavy. Ken Peavy with his knowledge. Yeah, there it is. I can see it in that light right here. All of this, all of these crater edges right here, where the metal is rippled up. Cool. Well, that's easy. Easy cheesy. I was hoping for a 1995 doubled D, but no such luck. There is another coin that I wanted to look at. Now that the professor's in town. Oh, Ken, what about this one? $1960 Denver RPM. Strong RPM. I believe this is number 12 on Wexler, where Wexler is calling this a triple RPM. I've never seen an RPM that big. Usually I see like an edge or maybe a split serif or something like that, but I've never seen one quite this big before. So as soon as I saw it, I knew right away it was an RPM, but just didn't know what kind. And that is a huge RPM. I thought that one was cool. I found that one. That one came from excuse me. That one came from a the box that I just finished this morning. Let's see. I got another one. Was it these two? I think it was these two. I got another 1960. Which one was this one? I should have wrote notes on these, but I didn't. Or I should have. Oh, die chips. Die chips on the reverse. So there's die chips on that one. Then there's this other one. I believe it also has a big die chip on that side. Don't remember why I pulled this one. I hate that. Always gotta do notes. Always gotta do notes and I never do notes. I have no idea why I pulled this one. Oh. Duh. Front. So that big die chip right here on the date. Right there. I thought that was really interesting. I've never seen die chips on the outside of the date. I always see them on the inside of the date. Like normally you see like the die chips, the filled 9, filled 6. Right here on the 6 you'll see some, but I've never seen any extra material on the outside of the date like that. thought that was really cool. So let's see what else I have. I had a 1948 that was in pretty good condition. This is the 48 that I found in my box today. Just overall, like, it still got some red in it, just a little bit, but I think it was kind of a just a neat coin. I very rarely find these pennies to have any luster in them. Usually the wheats I'm finding in full brown. Oh. Okay, Ken, here's one for you. I put this in a flip, but I found this one in a box, actually in the same box, and this was in the middle of a roll, and I could not believe that this thing was this sweet. This is a 55S. And this thing is, as far as the coins that I've come across in the 50s, this one is pretty darn clean. Most of the fields are pretty clean. There's a few scratches here and there. So the reverse. Reverse is also just like I don't even why, like, even the wheat stalks they're very clean. And then I thought that this was a little bit of wear and tear, but the other thing I noticed is that this space right here, which is common with the jacket on the obverse, the coins that are graded by PCGS. There's one in there, it's like a 66 or 67, 64, 65, somewhere in there, has this same thing, where it's really weak striker here, and that's because of the this guy's jacket right here that takes up all that metal. It is just a weak area to be struck. But like overall, this coin is sharp. I mean, yeah, there's some dings on the rim and stuff, but man, like I've never seen, other coins this sharp, especially in the 50s. Yeah, just I was really just shocked, and especially a 55S. I have never found any 55s that are this clean, let alone any S mint marks. So I know the mintage isn't a low mint or anything like that, but just to find a coin in this kind of quality in the middle of a roll, it being as old as it is, it was really surprising. So I thought that was a really fantastic find. And what killed me is that was like the third or fourth roll in. I was still in like the first 10 rolls of that box, and that's the one that popped out. One second. So 1960, 1965, 1966, 1967 or 1969? '65. Where am I gonna find the most amount of variety coins? 60. 1965, 1966, 1967, or 1969. Where am I gonna find the most errors of varieties out of those coins? '69. Okay. So other than the 69S double die, I'm assuming that I'm looking for the same types of errors. The double die reverse, double die obverse, and RPMs. Some of these coins are just trashed. Three DDOs, okay. I think most of the ones that I have in front of me are mint mark ones. Nope, I've got some in here, okay. There's a D. 69D, 1 DDO, 1 DDR, 14 RPMs. Holy cow. There's a lot of RPMs. See, my issue is that when I'm looking at coins, like, I always come across where, like on this particular one, there's this dip on the E, and I can never tell if that is a design issue, or it's just the way that it's struck. Because I've seen on some coins where that's an indicator of a doubling, but I don't understand why that is a a doubling indicator. Just doesn't make sense to me. Because doesn't that little dip actually reduce the design? Thus, that would be a machine doubling, not a double die. Because the process of machine doubling is actually a reduction of the design. Normal design. Okay. 1969S. And this is machine doubling right here. Right here on the S. The S and O. You can see it across the letters right here. That entire side. U-N-I-T-E-D. This is flattening the edges. And you can see it right here too. Yep. Machine doubling. I was looking for through some of my other coins, and I was thinking about keeping out some of my strongest machine doubling to use as examples in other informational videos that I would be working on in the future. To really show like a side-by-side of the difference between, major hub doubling, mechanical doubling, and then true double die. Just so people can, because a lot of people, they see pictures and stuff, but what does it look like on an actual moving coin? And I do have a few of those that I can actually show that type of thing. So I think that people would benefit from seeing something, like an actual moving coin, as far as a side by side comparison. Something different. Because I know, like, it took me a long time to really understand the double dies. The coin community needs more explanation of machine doubling. Yes. Now, I do know that there are pictures everywhere. But it is just like nobody reads those or looks at the pictures to really look at machine doubling. So how do you, like, do you say in a forum that you have to go read this article first on machine doubling before you can post pictures? I don't think that would work very well. Problem is the resolution of cameras. They are good, but 2 megapixels is nothing compared to the approximately 575 megapixel of a human eye. Okay. So what would be a different way that we can show people the difference between machine doubling and and actual double die. Like I know who was it? Um was it Amber? Was it Pinnell that did a I want to say it was either Pinnell or somebody else. That CoinOp did a video on that showed with biscuits. Yeah, like she did like somebody did like an entire coin like creation process to understand. Yes, yes. Okay, so it was, and that was Amber Pinnell, right? Okay, Amber. Yeah, all right. Okay, so I'm not getting senile in my old age here. I can still remember things. Yeah, I really enjoyed that video because it really showed that somebody, is taking the time to really understand how the process works to have a better understanding of what is creating these coins that we are finding. And I think that that's just way more important than a picture of a pile of coins saying, "Hey, is this valuable?" Maybe we need to make a create your own coin kit or something. I don't know. Just something different so that people, I mean, you can have articles all day long. We all know that people will learn differently. Some people are visual learners. Some people will learn by doing. Um, some people learn by hearing. Um, but I think if we found something interactive, then I think that would definitely help a lot of people understand. But how do you get something like that on a large scale? Other than just straight education. So I think that might be the question of the ages. It's how to get people to understand stuff. I'm gonna write a book. How to understand stuff for Dummies, Volume 1. anvil die fixed on a plate, a collar which gets inserted after the coin, and a hammer die. Use clay for the coin. Let them bang away and see what sort of errors and varieties that they create. Turn down my light here a little bit. I wonder if something like that could be mass produced. That's something that you could see on the seen on TV kind of boxes. In the seen on TV box at your local Target or something. Some Target action. Injection molding mass production is no problem. Selling masses of them, problem. Yeah, and that falls right in line with the problem, I guess that you could call it, that we have of, because like here's some good machine doubling right here. Not as strong as what I was finding. I had one. It's right here and right here. Not as strong as the one that I had on a 68, but I still find them from time to time, so I'm not really losing anything. But usually I can see machine doubling on the Lincolns by the front part of his hair is usually where it shows up. See, that's the CAD drawings is my specialty. I do 3D designs just as a hobby, and you know, so if it's something that can't be designed, I'll be able to design it. Think that mint mark got a little bit close. There's the candy supply company I used to buy from. You can send them a photo of your grandmother. They can turn it into a mold for a lollipop. Oh, that's cool. And then this one, this poor coin has just been absolutely destroyed. It's got scratches everywhere on the surface. Never had a chance. I don't expect damage coins. Yeah. What's the worst coin that somebody has sent to you to look at? Like, have you ever had somebody send you a coin that was like I think this is a double die, and you get it, and it's like completely destroyed. It looks like it got run over by a train. Have you ever had any of those? I would just feel bad if they spent. One guy sent a full Whitman folder, didn't find a single thing in it, not so much as a die chip. Well, I guess that's kind of good because that means you have good quality coins, right? Versus it being full of garbage. Okay, I'm going to keep this one and use this one as an example for because this has pretty good machine doubling on the 69 and the Liberty. Well, the 19 and the 6 and then the S has doubling, machine doubling on the left side, the west side, and then it also shows up very strong on Liberty. So this should be a great coin to show where um, where um, how the machine doubling shows up on different sections of the memorials, especially in different years, so they can look at each of the specific years and see, okay, so if I had a machine doubling on a particular year, you need to show the 3D aspect of the flat shelf. Well, maybe if what if I just made a 3D coin and explored it in a three-dimensional space? What about that? I wonder if I can do an interactive. Maybe if I just we'll call it an intro video to machine doubling, and basically created a three-dimensional machine doubled coin, I guess. And then later on, because I know there's some software that can be utilized to run not VR but 3D images that can be manipulated by the users. So somebody that is watching videos, online or on sitting on the computer can go through and look at a coin three-dimensionally, like in their browser window, to see the different aspects of it. Software is handy. 2 pounds of clay would be simple and easy. Yeah, that's true. But some of that is still maybe two-dimensional for some people. I think if they were given the option that they could explore it in their own if they were given the option that they can explore the coin on their own terms, you know, that they could figure it out for themselves, per se. It might be interesting. I've got a little Dremel that I have, but I can also 3D print a die as well. Die Varieties Minecraft Edition. Actually, that is not a bad idea. What kind of die varieties? Like close AM, wide AM, or DDO, DDR, so obverse, reverse, MD, machine doubling, RPM, repunchment mark. The big dogs, they want to fun and easily confuse. They break a piece off the side, make a cud. Does it bother you when people say, when people call like die chips, like on the interior of the coin, they call them cuds? Or for some people, is it just interchangeable, a die chip and a cud, because it's basically the same process, just different areas of the coin? Oh, okay. So it bothers you too. That's good to know. I am not the only one for that, because I just like, there are some people that just say, "Oh, well, it's a, you know, it's a cud on the on the on the date." It's like, no, 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 it's not. It's actually no. Because a cud is a piece of the die that broke off, and a die chip is just a chip, right? One guy said, "That's a cut on Lincoln's bow tie," to which I replied, "You have brain cancer." Uh, Mr. PV, I'm so glad that I'm not alone in some of the nails on chalkboard understanding. I don't know. I feel like it goes back to, the understanding of the coins and understanding of, just the understanding of the process. So this is a good example of the machine doubling that I was talking about that I see on Lincoln's, and the way that I could tell it's machine doubling, because I see this right here, and then on his forehead, it's this part right here that is always for me an indicator of machine doubling. And you can see it on his chin, and you can see it down on the date. But if I'm looking anywhere else on the coin, I can usually see it right here. That is, for me, that's always an indicator of machine doubling. We're really not seeing anything in these coins, really, as far as anything outside of just machine doubling. I haven't had, well, yeah, I haven't had in the 69s. I haven't had any ones that I would even think of looking for or finding anything that resembles a doubled iron RPM. I don't have too many of these. I only have just a handful here that I'm looking through, which I know is not very much in the grand scheme of things. My sample pool is small. I did find one earlier that had a die crack, and it went from the top of Lincoln's head all the way through the W. I thought that was kind of interesting. I think they call that like spiked head or something. I've only found a few of them, but most of the time I'm not really looking for them. So. Oh, there's another good one. This one shows the machine doubling all the way across Liberty, and then all the way down the entire left side, the west side of the coin. So I saw it initially on the edge of the six, edge of the 6, and on the S here, but that's another good example right there. So I'll use that as an example. Just a lot of machine doubling on these things. Machine doubling. There's more there. You can see it right here on the R and the T and the Y. Yeah. These things just had these dies. It really makes you wonder, Like, because we know that these dies were heavily used just to really crank out, you know, the hundreds of millions of coins that they ran during the time. That these dies just must have been torn up by the time that they changed them out. Must have just been just destroyed. Oh yeah. The pistons, the collars, the hydraulics, the whole 9 yards. Joints. Retainers, retainer nuts, woodruffs. Well, but a lot of the, again, the understanding um, that comes from those parts and how we can tell these things is the errors and the type of errors that come from these different kind of coins. So you have, you know, the retained cud, the cud, or the die chips, the die cracks. Like, we see those on the coins. We see the off center strikes, the broad strikes, um, you know, these other types of errors that we see. We know that with the wear on not only the dies from, you know, poor dies, but also the errors that we get from these other parts that are part of the process. This one has a ring of death all the way through it. There's machine doubling on that one on the north. Worn die with new equipment still get cracks, cuts, chips. Yeah, but those are related to just the die. But we can see from different types of errors where new die on worn equipment, miscellaneous dies, finning, MD. God, there's another one. Here's one that's that the MD is north or south. Keep some of these and use them for examples. So do you think that let's just throw a hypothetical out then. Hypothetically, say we went away from machine striking coins. What if we actually went back into the labor aspect of the coins, of how they used to be made, pretty much by hand. I don't think that it would be necessarily realistic to strike that many coins in use, but I don't know. I think that on some coins it may be worth it. Yeah, not practical. Well, that would be why it would be a hypothetical situation and not a realistic application. If inflationary labor cost flies in the face of fixed value. Yeah, that it does. Still though, I wish there was a better culture that would revolve around understanding how things work. Last one was a floating roof. I don't know which one the last one was. Was it this one? Was it this one that you were talking about? Kind of. Barely. Not really. Spender. Kick. Done. Am I looking for the floating roof that's missing the FG? Is that one of those design elements? '69 Denver. It's an overpolished die. They no longer has value when first noticed. They drew a premium PCGS, even slabbed a bunch. Then people kept finding more and more. 69D was a big year for it. I think at this point I would just like to find a 69S double die. That would be I'd be alright with that. Finding, you know, finding one on a pile that's MS62. That would be an okay find for me. PCGS no longer slaps them, so the specimens they did slap carry premium because it is a discontinued attribution. I will have to remember that and look for that next time I go to the coin store. Because one thing I noticed that I took in I have a 1988 Denver that has the 89 reverse, and I took it in to have the guy look at it, and he was completely oblivious that those things even existed. So I know that he knows nothing about varieties, which may play into my master plan and cherry pick it. I'd be happy as pig and stuff to find a DDR Roosevelt right now. Oh, because you're working on dimes, huh? Are you looking at cherry pick his whole store? Yeah, I wish I could, man. I wish I could. I have found a lot of coins that he dumps that are foreign coins, and so I usually raid the foreign coins for 10 cents each. But the one thing that I also did not previously understand, found a 1911S double die number 2. Well, how about you go back and you find me one? How about that? One of the things that I noticed was that you can have a slabbed coin that has almost felt guilty, right? Emphasis on the almost part. And so for this part, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is the way that I understand it. So you can send in a coin to be graded and not specify that it be attributed for any particular errors. So you could have potentially a double die coin that is slabbed as just a regular MS strike coin, right? Okay. You don't pay for attribution, it doesn't get listed. So there could be coins that are DDO, DDR, RPMs that are slabbed as regular MS coins. Holy crap. my mind can't. My mind just can't even handle that right now. Because that makes me want to go through his entire shop and just be like, is there a numismatic contractor service where us coin people can get paid X amount of dollars um, to go and double check for errors for coin shops? Does that job exist? Because if so, I want it. I totally want it. I'd be doing this all day long. Just be like, you know what? I'm gonna go kill, 3 hours. Get paid a few $100 for the day, and then just hang out and look at coins. They pay me $5 a coin to look at stuff. Well, that's because you're the professor. You already knew all of this stuff. I'm talking, us lazier folk. Not like I was born with experience. Well, yes, that's true. We all have our things that we learn. Look at this. So I know the rest of this coin is just kind of there. I'm gonna grab some water. I'll be 2 seconds. And I'm back. Water does the body good. This is a 1974 that the coin was polished. I'm thinking it may be a Die Clash. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Just the polishing right there, and then on the one, it's almost polished all the way out. So that's what I was looking for, as far as the rest of the Clash. So, but I'm not seeing anything on the obverse. Yeah, large date 9 on the 7. So this one should be a lot thicker than it is, but it's partially missing and down here because it was polished. So, but the rest of, like the part that I don't get is that like there should be some other like clash marks or something that I should see, because what's that? Generally you would see it somewhere right here. These two bays. Right here and right here, I think, is what you're talking about. That's what I was looking at too. I'm assuming this was Bia's head right here. You see the multiple lines that clash repeatedly and misaligned. Let's take a look at that mint mark here. Or initials. Mint initials. Is that just polished out, or is the G doubled on the edge? Or is this just lighter because it's polished out right here? Over polished. Okay. So the real question is this worth keeping? Or do I throw this in my pile of goop? True story. This is one, I think I'm going to keep this just for the sake of the video that I'm going to do on this box. And then I will put it in the Chuck It bucket, so that I can talk about, you know, seeing these lines and knowing that is the, you know, the obverse of the die clash. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. That goes in this one right here. Um, 60s. There's 1980 Philadelphia. 60s. So 1969. 1968. I really like your coin glasses. I'm actually kind of sad that I've missed the last few, just because the last couple weeks I've been really busy at work and I haven't been able to to watch them live. I have watched them um, post live stream though, and I do really like watching those shows. There's really a lot of information that you put out there. You've got you got Big Show tomorrow or today? The next set I will be doing 1965s. I only got a few of these. I know there are double dies on Versas that you can see on the 65s. I've on the both the 65 and the 66. I cannot tell on the 65 66 what a double die what a minor double die would look like on, especially like there's supposed to be a way that you can see it on the date, but I just cannot grasp that particular one. Stuff I ordered did not come in, so I'll dig deep into some of the boxes around here. I piked up a pile of subs this week, hoping for a strong turnout. How many subs are you at already, Ken? You've got to be sitting pretty strong, right? $650. Oh man, you're just around the corner from that 1,000. I haven't even broken 150 yet. Gotta hit 1,000 for that monetization. So the way that I understand the 1965s, as far as the double die, that it shows up on the 5. And the way that I understand it, it shows up right here on this part, where this will basically look like a split serif. But I've never been able to find one that even remotely looks like that. Like I've seen some that just have like a little edge, but it's like I keep finding them, so I know it can't be that much of a double die. Yeah, my light, I'm not gonna get an eyelid. So I'll have to find it on. Is it on the bottom of the L or the top of the L? Because I know in most of them it's on the bottom of the L, on the vertical bar. Then there's a couple of them that have it on the top. Bottom of the L, another DDO with an extra eyelid, another doubled IG, and God We Trust. So I think I'll probably find my lighting on this thing sucks so bad that I won't find the eyelid, just the way that it hits. But I'll probably find it on the In God We Trust. Is it like a minor separation, or is there clear separation lines? So I know on the 68, there is a double die, but like if the coin is worn, you'll never see the separation lines, just because they're so close that it would have to be like MS plus condition to even get close. And that one's destroyed. Medium spread on the last T. Okay. See, on some of these that, you know, I don't really know specifically what I'm looking for on every single piece. I usually just look through what I already know and how it shows up, and I can usually get pretty good at it. Left side of horizontal and left side index. Okay. Like to come across a E pluribus unum double die one of these days. I think that would be like on, what is that, 82, 83s, that have the DDR reverse on that, where it's just like completely over the top of each other. I think that would be alright to find. I think it's A4. Right. And that's why, like, even looking at coins where you don't know the specific, or some of the specifics of the errors associated with or the known errors associated with those years and mint marks, that you can, that the possibility exists that you can find that they might exist in the same area. So like they'll show up on split serifs on the 1 cent on the reverse, or a lot of them show up on the R on America for the DDRs. On the obverse, they'll show up on the T's on Trust, or they'll show up on the L on Liberty. Like they're very distinctive. So as long as you start in those areas and then work your way around the coin, you can generally find or not find something. One project I'm working on is a deck of flashcards, 1 date per card, obverse on one side and reverse on the other. Full shot of normal coin, close up of pickup points for easy to ID varieties. So in what capacity would you use those flashcards? Would you be using them on like just on like your coin class, or would you be like mass producing these? Well, Mr. PV, if you would like assistance with that, I would be more than happy to work on some graphics for you. If you don't already have that associated out. It's some fantastic machine doubling across this coin. Some good. Holy crap. Big picture. Big picture, Ken. You're right. Because then people can do stuff offline, or if they're looking for a particular variety, and they can really memorize. Holy crap. Let me guess, you just come up with this idea on your what, third cup of coffee in the morning? Cup, yeah. Sorry, I chose the wrong container size. Pot, yes. The third pot of coffee in the morning. Oh. See, this one, the Y is polished. And it's a little bit weak down there. The backside of this coin is so jacked up, I wouldn't be able to see anything. Oh, this thing is wore out. You could even do an app for phones with that same concept. Digital technology, same thing. Type year in series, kick up a picture of it, point out what to look for. These coins have seen better days. These coins have very much seen better days. Generation X, I don't do the phone thing. I do email. Well, but that's that may be where some of our us younger people step in and take the concept to the next level. You just got a new phone, has a screen, all you have to do is touch it. I missed the flip. Funny story. A guy that I used to work with. We there was a group of us that always kind of made fun of him because he had a flip phone, and he had the same flip phone for I don't know how many decades, but he eventually got a touch phone, and it was just like a whole new world to him, but all of us are quite a bit younger than him, so I'm not really gonna fault him for that. But it's just kind of interesting because I only had a flip phone for a short. Oops, whoa, what am I doing here? I had a flip phone for a short time. It was a Motorola, and it was an excellent phone, but I only had that one for about 2 to 3 years, which is about average for the length of time that I have phones. Before I end up getting a smartphone, but yeah, it's just kind of interesting how technology has come to the point where, and this goes for all technologies, not just phones. That everything is technology based. We have refrigerators that are like $2,000, and like to repair it is like a few $100s because it's all electronics and control boards inside, instead of just like you have a mechanical compressor and you have like that's it. Company gave me a BlackBerry when it came out. Threw the damn thing in a vat of acid. Let me guess, didn't work too well after that? Or the fact that it still worked after that? Some of those things were pretty robust. They could survive a lot of things. If my grandmother's fridge acted up, she thawed the ice, then hit the side with her fist, good as new. Yeah, and that's not what exists now. Everything is basically replaceable. And that's not necessarily a good thing. mean, yeah, it's a good thing that it can be replaced easily, but it's not a good thing because more things are getting replaced than repaired. And I've even seen there is places. I believe there's one in Europe and Sweden, Norway, around that area. That they actually have shops that you go into to repair items. And basically, it's volunteer run, and you basically fix your item for free. But they show you how to repair it. And they have cut landfills down. Um, uh, of those objects because they're getting repaired versus replaced and just thrown away by a drastic amount. There's some solid machine doubling. Well, hello. I am just on here talking with myself about coins, about stuff, about the reason why we do what we do. You're welcome to follow along and chip in. Years back, I spent some time in Amish country, no need for appliances. They got ice and ice cream in the summer, warm, cozy houses all year, and never have to mow the lawn. Simpler time, Ken. Much simpler time. So right now I'm going through my 1965s that I have had stashed away. I'm just going through them right now because I'm kind of purging out what I just have sitting here. I'm looking for double die versus double die reverses, RPM repunch mint marks. So far, really haven't found too much other than an RPM on 69, 68, 68 that we found earlier. And some of these older coins, like some of these scratches, like I have to look at it in a different edge of the light so I can see if I know if it's a scratch or if it's a die crack that's running across the coin. Sometimes I just can't tell. Yeah, you guys are always welcome to hide here. My door is always open. Hey Ken, what's the temperature there? Up here it's what is it, 30, was about 50 today. Right now it is 45 degrees. The high today is supposed to be 48 degrees. Ken says 60s out there right now. Thermostat is set at 999. That's crazy. Back in the 70s. Ugh. I'm okay with it being about 66 to 68. I prefer a little bit in the 66 range, just because I have this really thick comforter and it's really warm, but I don't get too hot and I sleep really good with it. But if it gets too hot, then I'll wake up like sweating and I can't do it. So I usually have my thermostat between 64 and 66. Sometimes 68 if I feel a little bit too cold, but I'll usually drop it back to like 66. Machine doubling. Ken says, I'm okay with running the heater for 1 month a year. Oh, man, Ken. I wish that was the answer up here. I'm really curious to see what the weather is going to be like this year, because there was like 3 or 4 years ago where it was really a cold winter, and then in like the middle of March it was just like this massive snowstorm. And it was really interesting because people up here, they don't know how to drive in the snow because we don't get snow very much. So basically shut down the entire city. Like, nobody could go anywhere. I'm lucky enough to where I live like not even a few miles from work. So I ended up getting on these, I don't know what you call them, these little strap-on cleats or spikes that you can put on shoes to help you like walk on ice and snow. And I end up just jogging up to work. I went up to visit my sister one year, stayed there 3 weeks. Snow began to fall. I loaded up and came home. That she was upset because it was 2 days before Thanksgiving when I left. I had Thanksgiving with my brother here. That is the measure of my resolve. I feel you, Ken. I feel it, man. If I don't have to go out in the snow or the cold, I will not. But on the other hand, there are some there is it's called Silver Creek Falls. It's about an hour from here, from where I live, 45 minutes from where I live. And it is a state park, and there are just about 10 major waterfalls in the state park. And going up there when it's cold is just the most beautiful place that you could ever visit. Just because there's nobody around, and there's just a lot of nothing going on, and it's just very calm and very peaceful. It's a great place to just kill a good part of a day just to be out there. So I haven't been out there in a little while. I need to get back up there. Get my dose of nature. Ken says, no more cold for me, kind of like where I live now, and I can kill the best part of most days, getting nothing done. Well, I'm a little bit jealous, Ken. I'm just gonna say that. I'm a little bit jealous. Do fingerprints carry a premium? If you can get one of the fingerprints of the mint worker and use them to get into the mint, can that happen? You get those inside the proof sets. I'm kind of glad that I'm actually going through these coins, because I really was just short of just taking the entire box and then just dumping it and just calling it a day and starting over. But I thought maybe I'll find something that I'd missed. Bad news is that so far I haven't missed that much. Good news is that there's a couple items that I did miss. What is that? The shadow right here next to the T. Is that just machine doubling? Or is that just damage on the coin to make it look off? Yeah, it's probably just damage. Because on the back I've got machine doubling, so. Really not finding a whole lot on these 65s. I don't think I've ever had very good luck finding anything on the 65s or the 66s. Clash on the right base. Could be this one. Yeah, what is that? is that? Beard. Oh. Oh yeah. Okay, yep, I see it over here too. Right there. Oh, that's an interesting one. I have to keep that one. I kind of like that one. Yeah, I'm gonna keep that one. I'm gonna keep that one just for kicks and giggles. Some of these coins, they just have so much wear on them. It's hard to pull anything out of them. Like that previous one. That previous one was basically a red, but it had so much surface, just goop on it, that there's no way that you would tell that it was really anything on there. Once you can identify him, you'll pick him out instantly. Yeah, still learning. Always gotta be learning. Always gotta be looking for something new. Looking for something different. I already looked at that one. 1965. I don't think that I'm really gonna find anything super fantabulous. A lot of these coins are very, very circulated. Or there's this one. I'm gonna call this one a not a Van Gogh, but how about a Renoir? How about that? How about some Impressionism, maybe? I would say Van Gogh, but his ear is still there, so I know it can't be that one. So, you know, like some early Manson, some early abstract. Some of these poor coins. Some of these just poor coins just did not make it. Did not have a chance. There's polishing right here. Polishing right here on the edge of the one is cut out. But this right here is a lot weaker than the rest of his vest. So this area has been polished out previously. The back of this coin looks like it's been on the ground. Run over by a truck. No, I'm not getting any luck with these coins. For the T, nothing on the T, nothing on the eyelid. Yeah, there's a die chip right there. Big fat one on the T. Keep it because of the die chip or spend it because it's not a significant die chip? Yeah, I do too. I like them because it shows the history of the dies. Surprised I didn't see that one before. That's why we always double check them. Always looking at coins. And machine doubling down here. See on the N, on the E, on the C. That's real easy to see. Most die chips carry little premium. Part of the reason for no premium is because they have not been cataloged. Cataloged as a sense of the dies themselves, or because I know your die chips can be literally anything, and you know generally your die chips only last for X number of strikes before they find it, right? As an attribute listing. Okay. Alright, I've been on for 3 hours and 8 minutes. It is close to 2 o'clock in the morning for me here. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up, and attempt to get some sleep. We'll see where that ends up. Have a good morning, Mr. Peavy. Hope to see you on later. And for everybody else that let's see who else is in here. Nope, just Ken. Because Ken is the man. Alright, Ken. I guess I will see you later today. And if not, I hope you have a good big show later. And have a great day, man. Thanks for taking the time and stopping in and hanging out with me. And I really appreciate it. Later, man.